to another Wilson the Defender video. This video will be in sort of three bits. It's a look at the King's swing out awning side sheets that they do. Are they any good? And then I'll just quickly bolt on the checker plate on the wings. We'll see how that goes, whether I can actually video it or the weather's going to try and beat me and make it just too awkward. So I'll just show you the result rather than the actual doing. And then we'll go for a drive. On the way back from that drive now, so it's a bit fun. I've got soaking wet feet because it's a Land Rover Defender and it's raining. So, hey, all good fun, isn't it? So if that's of any interest to you, then stick around. Hopefully it won't be too long a video, but yeah, let's get on with it. Okay, it's large under here now. It's a really large area. And if we go right back over here, loads of room, and obviously how they hang will depend on how you set them up and also the height. But yeah, because this corner's not picked down properly, it all needs to come around a bit and be adjusted, but it gives a sense of the space we got under here should the weather need you to enclose it. It's warm in here already. Toasty. Definitely needs lining up a bit better with the poles. Running away, bye! So yeah, it's a lot of room under there, and what we'll do is I'll have a measure up and I'll go to our local trim shop and I'll get them to shorten the length of the sides to make them more appropriate for what we want on this vehicle, because obviously they're a universal fit but the vehicles aren't a universal height. There we have it. It creates a good space inside, gets warm very quick in, you know, the sun's there, it's 25 degrees today and it's cooked quite quickly inside, so luckily the door's got the vents on, and it demonstrates that there is going to be a need to reduce the height on all four of the panels. Will it cost too much to do? I don't know. We'll work it out. We'll head to a trim shop and see what sort of quotes we can get to rehem them and cut the bottom off. Holes all drilled in the wing and we're in lovely sunshine. However, you're trying to pack away quick because we are about to get very wet very shortly. Blowing right through the carport. let's have a discussion about my thoughts on the awning sheets and me checker plate on the bonnet. And considering the rain, am I going to get soaked from the top corner? As we go for a spin. Well, it might be alright. So far, so good. No, I think we're going to be fine. Turn off a road shortly at Eridu, dirt road. I've been down as far as the railway bridge over the river, but I've not been any further. So we'll have a look to see where that road goes, and while we're down there we'll have a discussion about the King's awning side sheets and bits and pieces, and we'll have a look at the checker plate on the front. But at the minute we're stuck behind the quad, who was stuck behind the caravan, so we're not going anywhere particularly fast. But then there's no rush, it's my day off. We'll just go for a little drive while we're here. I know one thing that's down there though, and that's Ford if the river's flowing. Water in the river. It's flowing nicely. Well, who doesn't like a good river crossing? Right, let's see where this road goes. Now, we've had fun playing in the water. Wet feet now. Right, let's have a chat. Righto, we're dodging the showers still, having a bit of fun, but let's discuss the King's awning sheets. Now that obviously easy to use, just zip on. The zips appears to be pretty good quality and it zips on easy. There's no difficulty in getting the zip in, hooked in and everything else and zipped up. and the zip runs free, so that bit's fine. The issue is that because this is a freestanding swing out awning here, that each leg is at a different height where it sticks out. So that means the sheet needs to be a different height. Uh-oh, I'm getting wet. And the problem with that is all the sheets are the same height. The result of which is some sheets hang better than others and they billow. Now, if it's just a bit of weather protection, yeah, that's fine. But we're going to have to get them altered. So they're not the best. We'll have to look at the location of where we're going to have the one with the doors in it, because that needs to be a little bit taller up than the other two. Higher up, even if I use English rather than taller up. So that's those. Would I recommend them? Not so much. Now the swing out awning, I can't really fault it. It's gone on easy. Once I've got the right roof rack and brackets for it, it's all good. Swings out easy, secures easy. So that bit's fine. But the side sheets leave a little bit to desire, and they're not exactly cheap either. But the poles that they get you to buy with them to give a bit of extra support due to the extra weight hanging on the end of the beams, they don't actually fit. They got a spike on the top, but there's nowhere for the spike to go under the leg. And obviously when you're getting in and out of the vehicle, the awning wants to go up and down with the suspension on the vehicle. So if you don't have rigid jacks underneath to hold the vehicle in position, every time you get in the vehicle you're putting more strain on that rooftop beam where it bolts onto the vehicle. So you're going to potentially do damage there. So yeah, if you're going to try and box it all in, I'm going to say probably not the best way to do it. However, we got them, we'll use them, we'll make the best of a deal and carry on. So then that brings me on to the front of the vehicle. The front of the vehicle. Now we've got the checker plate on, as you saw me fighting the weather to get them on in between the showers. Managed to get away with that one, but not so much at the minute. I'm going to have to, excuse me, wipe the lens there. So obviously these have gone on. I like the plain look without checker plate, but the checker plate on the front is so that we can get to the front of the roof rack, because we're going to put a roof tent on. So you can't really be climbing over the roof tent to get stuck on the front of the roof rack. So I've got the checker plate. Now this checker plate, it's shaped, it's got the rolled edge on it, and it fits much better. I had already bought a couple of pieces of checker plate to go on. They tucked under the bonnet, which would have caused rubbing and chafing and would have worn through. And they just didn't fit right. Whereas these, they follow the bonnet line, lovely. The only thing was they got a 6mm hole where the bolts are. These are all 6mm holes which are already in the panel before you get it, which meant bigger holes in the wing, so you couldn't really use pop rivets. Not practical at that size. So I've gone for stainless steel nuts and bolts, and they hold it on nicely. This side actually was even easier than the other side. This one had the aerial on the back here, which was what caused me more issues with the other panel that I'd already bought. So that was a nuisance. However, with this panel, yeah, I've just cut the old antenna off. I couldn't get it to go all the way down, I couldn't get it out. So we'll just get a new one. I can't hear the radio in there anyway. So just a little bit more sheltered from the wind and the rain. So if you couldn't hear me for the last bit, sorry. But we're looking at a roof tent. Now, I've got the front runner roof rack. So looking at the front runner roof tent, fold out roof tent, because that's the sort we're looking at to give us more room without taking up the entire roof rack. We looked at that one and thought, yeah. However, when it folds out, you exit from the outside of the tent, whereas there's no shelter underneath. You can buy and zip on awning that goes underneath, but the ladder remains outside and you climb out from the bed down the ladder outside. Whereas the King's rooftop tent is cheaper which isn't necessarily a good thing. However, has an extra sheet on the outside where you come out with the zip-on underneath awning inside the awning, so you're not actually going outside. Do you follow what I mean? So you actually come out underneath more than out the end of the roof tent. So I'd like your thoughts on that. Which would you recommend? King's, bit cheaper and has the underneath entrance and exit, or the front runner one, which is going to be better quality but you exit on the outside? Thoughts on that one? I'm sort of edging towards the King's one purely on the basis of the underneath exit as a short-term tent rather than a long-term thing, while we work out how we want to configure Wilson here for more longer-term cruising around. Of course I'm not leaving you behind. It's raining. So anyway, that's this video done. I hope you've enjoyed this little perusal, given the weather and everything else, and trying to get things done and trying to keep things interesting. So anyway, next video I suppose really ought to be fitting the gull wings, because they're now set in the house and I need to get rid of some more cardboard boxes. So until next time, enjoy your Land Rover. See you soon. Bye for now.